Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, October 21st, and I'm your host, Brian Boudreau. It's great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week we have a lot in store for you on Norwood News. We check in with Officer Baguma on Halloween safety, Norwood 150th Committee celebrates with a rocket launch, and one of Coakley Middle School's own receives a prestigious award. But first, this past Monday, the girls' soccer team and field hockey team came together for a special occasion. Megan Corbett reports.
Back in 2015, the Norwood field hockey team came together to support one of their own whose mother was battling breast cancer.
We started this my second year as head coach, so I think this is our 9th year doing this game. We started, it must have been the fall of 2014, the 2014-2015 season. One of our captains that year, her mom was battling breast cancer, so it was kind of something that was very close to our team. And in talking to other players and family and personally, we've all been affected by someone with breast cancer, so it just seemed like a really cool thing that we could do to kind of give back to a really good cause.
Since that time, other sports teams have joined in to carry on the tradition of the Pink Out Night. This past Monday, the girls' soccer team and the field hockey team teamed up for the Pink Out Night. The girls' soccer team is supporting one of their teammate sisters, Megan Collins, a Coakley Middle School student battling cancer. NHS varsity girls soccer coach Kim Brinklow explains how important it is for these student athletes to learn how to support one another.
It's good for the teams and the kids at this age to know, that there are people in need and you can do a small thing to help out other families, and that, hopefully, but not, maybe someday they would be in need of help, and the, communities come together, and that's what we do.
One phrase we have heard over and over again is once a Mustang, always a Mustang. And this night, led by coaches, players, and volunteers, defines yet again how strong this Norwood community is.
Somebody needs something, people are always there. Whether it's whatever it might be, whether
something
it's
small or something big, I feel like this community always comes together for each other. Whether it's a meal or pick something up or drop something off or buy t-shirts, or people are just always there for each other, no matter what it is, small or big.
It just feels good to know that there's something we can do to almost lift her spirits and show that we're in support of her and the girl on our team and her family.
Well, we just want to know, we just want to say we're in support of everything that's going on, and we're always here, always a family here with this team and with us especially. So
this is one of the nights that NHS varsity girls field hockey coach Allison Doliner looks forward to every year.
Coaching young women, it's something that we want to empower them on and off the field. We want them to be successful student athletes. We want them to be contributing members to the community, and the way that they get so pumped up for this is awesome, because it's so much more than a game. Everything that goes along with it, they get really excited for, and I think their energy hopefully will feed into the games today for all the teams. But it's good to see them think about more than just the sport. All right, I'm here with some of Coakley Middle School's finest. Girls, who's going to win today?
Norwood!
Woo! Ready? Go you Stangs on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go you Stangs!
What a great night. NCM was so proud to be a part of it and provide coverage of both games. Earlier this week, one of Coakley Middle School's own, Christina Serratas, was honored for Teacher of the Year from Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is an APB STEM-based curriculum for pre-K through 12, empowering students to thrive in an evolving award. CMS Principal Margot Frazek was ecstatic for Serratas and couldn't think of anyone more deserving.
Christina, I just want to let you know how really proud we are of you winning Project Lead the Way Teacher of the Year. You have always been sort of our flagship person at the Coakley, bringing new projects in. You have really taken this curriculum from day one and run with it. You're an inspiration to our other teachers that are here. Our kids really love your classes, and they take it with them when they leave, which is the most important aspect. So thank you for all of your hard work. It is truly appreciated, and congratulations on being the Project Lead the Way Teacher of the Year.
Christina was shocked when she heard her name called at the conference and was filled with so many emotions.
No clue. No idea. No idea. It was never even my radar. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to win awards. It's nice to be recognized. I'm not going to say it's not nice, but honestly, this recognition belongs to my students. And I did tell my students that, it's their award because they're the ones that put in the work. So at the end of the day, I'm happy and I'm very honored and appreciative of receiving it, but it's all about the kids and what they're learning. It means a lot, but it means more to me that my students are being recognized. It's great, you know, but it's really more about my kids. They are the ones that are doing the work. They're the ones that are taking the risks. They're the ones that are learning. And having them be recognized for the chances that they're taking, for the work that they're doing is just amazing. It's also important, you know, for me to be able to give back to my community, to my district, because Norwood invested in me. They had to buy all of these supplies, and they, you know, had to put me into training. And it's so good that I'm able to give back to them, and by the same token, open up pathways for our students to be able to explore other opportunities that wasn't available to them before. When the kids are excited, when they take some wires and they connect it and they get the lights to turn on, or like I actually had this happen today, they couldn't get the lights to turn on and they just wanted me to give them the answer. I said, I can't give you the answer, but I can guide you a little bit. And he got it to turn on. It was 3 lights, by the way. And to see his excitement, and I'm like, isn't it better than me just giving you the answer? And he's like, yeah, I feel so proud of myself. And that's what we live for. When kids make the connections and, you know, are excited about what they're doing and they can see the value in it, that's why we do it.
Congratulations to Christina from all of us here at NCM. With Halloween coming up, there are plenty of things to keep in mind when it comes to staying safe. School Resource Officer Jeffrey Baguma has all the tips and advice for having a safe and fun Halloween.
Oh, how are you, all you ghouls and goblins? This is Officer Jeffrey Baguma, and I am here to talk to you about safety, especially around Halloween. One of the most safe things you could do is never open candy and eat it before you have it checked. There's so many things out there that might look like candy that aren't in fact candy. They could be something else, something that'll make you feel sick afterwards. So always pause, get home first, and have your parents check it out. Another thing you want to do is you always, if you can, have something reflective on your costumes. There's so many cars out at Halloween, and you have trucks such as fire engines, which are, you know, so high and they won't be able to see anybody who's shorter than, let's say, 5 feet. All right. The other thing is you do not want to go into anybody's house. Okay. Do not let anyone tell you to come in that they have candy inside, or if you want to come in and pat their dog or anything like that. Okay. You always have to know that during Halloween, all the people you see outside are strangers, if they're not your friends and family that you could identify. All right. We want to make sure to carry flashlights if we can, or those glow sticks, anything to make you more visible. And even though you're going to be super excited, you want to pause and follow the traffic laws. Okay. You're a pedestrian. You want to make sure you stop. You're in a big group. You look left and right more than once, more than twice if you have the time. You want to make sure that there are no cars, you know, coming down the street, and then you safely walk across the street. Okay? Those are just a few tips when it comes to Halloween safety. Ghouls and Goblins, Baguma is out.
We'll be right back with Flying Rockets, and Ron Marshalsea updates us on sports.
Norwood Community Media has its own video on-demand channels. You can go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org, and click on whichever on-demand channel you are looking for, whether it be things to do in the community, events at the schools, or town government meetings. Once you click on one, you are going to be taken to a screen in which you can search for stories or videos you missed on TV or just want to watch again. Just click on the search bar on top of the page and start typing. Once you've found what you're looking for, just click in the middle of the video where the play button is, and you are off enjoying one of the 3 on-demand channels NCM has to offer.
It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon with no wind, which means it was a perfect day to launch rockets. Over 200 rockets were launched behind the Coakley Middle School at a special Norwood 150th event hosted by Norwood's Orient Lodge of Freemasons. Here is the event coordinator, Brian Palmatier.
This is the Norwood 150 model rocketry event being hosted by the Orient Lodge Freemasons, co-sponsored by the Norwood 150 Committee and the South Norwood Committee. We are shooting off rockets today. We're going to have about 200 flights. We've already got some of them. Most of our kindergartners through the third grade have already had their first launch. They're working on getting their second, more powerful launches in the air. And then we're going to do fourth and fifth grade rockets. This is just like incredible, and I'm trying to catch my breath because we've got so many kids here having a great time, and you know, parents you know, just have a grand time seeing their kids delight on their faces and chasing their rockets as they parachute down.
Thanks to Brian and the entire 150th Committee who have been sponsoring events for all ages all year long. Every May, the Norwood Scholarship Foundation awards over $50,000 to Norwood students to help with their college educations. The foundation has awarded over $1 million since 1986. On Sunday, the committee held a fundraiser at the Old Colonial Cafe to help raise money for their scholarships. Here is President George Yusevich.
The Norwood Scholarship Foundation has been set up in our community to award Norwood students, Norwood residents, with money at the end of the year to help them in their education program when they go to college. We've been very, very fortunate in Norwood to have a number of donors who year after year give money for scholarships to our students. And we have an awards night, and students receive $1,000 minimum for their scholarship award. And in addition to the donors, we have a number of activities that we run during the course of the year. We had a trivia night last year that raised a good amount of money to support a $5,000 scholarship, a one-time award for the 150th celebration of the town of Norwood. And this afternoon we are at the OCC here in Norwood running a football Sunday night that we did about 4 years ago before COVID hit. We haven't had an opportunity to do it again, but it's a wonderful night. We get about 100 people here, and we have luncheon, and we watch the football game, and it's a nice way to say thank you to our donors too for giving money to the scholarship fund. But it's a wonderful organization. I've had a wonderful opportunity to be president for a number of years after being principal of Norwood High School, and the joy of it is that money goes back to Norwood residents. And even if you're a student at a private school, if you're going to Xaverian, if you're going to Catholic Memorial, and you reside in the town of Norwood, you're eligible to receive an award from the Norwood Scholarship Foundation. And I encourage you, check with your guidance counselors, check with your financial people. We give money to Norwood residents who have done well academically. And it's a joy to be part of this in a community that is so well respected and takes care of its students. So again, thank you, and I want to thank all the people who were behind tonight's activity to raise the funds, and we have a number of prizes that we're giving out, raffle prizes, and we did very, very well today to help out the students of Norwood. So thank you, and next year we'll be doing another Football Sunday, and watch our webpage for an announcement, and we'd like to have you here to join us and celebrate Norwood's finest. Thank you.
Now we're going to toss it over to Zaina Najjar with school news.
Hi guys, I'm Zaina Najjar, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. In Norwood High School news, congratulations to the students of the month, John Kavanaugh and Kara Haviland. The 4th grade students at the Balch School have been studying energy and electrical currents. On Thursday, students got some help from friends at the Norwood Light Department. Bobby Griffin, Rich McColgan, and Jack Saratori and Jorge Ramirez come in to talk to students about how electricity is generated and maintained here in Norwood. Students learned about conductors and insulators, circuits, and energy transformation. They were able to see and try some of the equipment and tools used by the linemen at the light department. They were also able to see and explore one of the bucket trucks. It was a great way for the students to apply their learning. Thank you, Norwood Light. The Cleveland School held their student council elections for 4th and 5th grades. Each class in grades 4 and 5 elect 2 student representatives. The students create a poster and write a speech, which they gift to their classmates. The class then holds an election with ballots and elect their representatives for the year. Throughout the year, the Student Council does community outreach projects like food drives, candy for the troops, and coat and mitten drive. They also run a school store, are student ambassadors for new students, and come up with school spirit days throughout the year. Special thanks to 5th grade teacher Caitlin Joyce, who runs the Student Council for the Cleveland School. The 4th grade team at the Oldham School created a hands-on experiment-based experience to help students learn about energy transfer. The students visited several stations and utilized their observation skills to begin scientific inquiry process. The experience was a success, and students walked away with their own constructed understanding of complex scientific concepts. Erin Ruland, library teacher at the Callahan and Oldham, presented at the MassQ conference. MassQ is the state's leading organization for educators with a passion for digital learning, and the conference was at Gillette Stadium. Ruland's presentation included a do-it-yourself vertical wind tunnel that teachers can easily build with their students. Students can explore physics and aerodynamics and also explore the design process. Brenna Milbier, grade 5 teacher at the Callahan, attended Mr. Ruland's session to learn about the presentation, and it looks like she had fun. Here is a great picture of 4 elementary principals who also attended the conference: Diane Ferreira, Carrie Hutchins, Brian Riley, and Stephen Olson. Kindergarten students at the Willett School had some very special visitors at their school on October 13th. Jim Parks of Wing Masters brought 4 owls, all native to New England, to the Willett's gym. Students learned about how owls use their special powers of sight, hearing, and flight to thrive right in our backyard. Before and after the Wing Masters visit, Willett teachers supported students learning about owls by reading nonfiction books about owls, drawing sketches of owl features, and learning vocabulary words like prey, talons, and nocturnal. A special thank you to the Little Mustang Preschool Academy and Willett Parent Teacher Organization, who organized this exciting enrichment opportunity for kindergarten students with grant funding support from Norwood Cultural Council. Well, that's it for school news. The students are always learning, and thanks to all the educators who share their school news with us. Now let's send it over to Ron Marshallsey with your latest in sports news.
I'm Ron Marshallsey, and this is your sports update. Girls soccer lost to both Hopkinton and Stoughton, but tied Ashland 2-2. Field hockey had 3 hard-fought, close losses to Canton, Hopkinton, and Ashland this week. These 2 teams played back-to-back on Monday and had their pink nights, where the teams, coaches, almost everyone in the stands, and even the announcers wore their pink. The soccer game was special as freshman Casey Collins' sister Megan was watching live from Dana-Farber's Hospital in Boston, cheering on her sister and the Mustangs. I speak for everyone at NCM when I say, Megan, we are with you, and we wish you nothing but the absolute best moving forward. The golf team played in the state tourney at Maplegate in Bellingham last week, but unfortunately they will not be advancing to the next round. The team, coached by Chuck Allen, finished the season with an 11-7 record and will have some strong golfers returning next year. The volleyball team lost a tough game to Holliston. NCM was there to cover the game live, and even though they lost 3-0, the way they played the entire game does not reflect that at all, with the sets being 25-18, 30-28, and 25-21. The team played extremely well heading into their final 2 games of the season, both at home. The football team traveled to Holliston last Thursday night and lost 41-7. The lone touchdown was a 10-yard pass from Sean Steves to Jack Dwyer. Boys soccer lost this week to Hopkinton and Ashland and will travel to Medfield for their next game. Last weekend, the NHS cheerleading squad competed with 20 teams in the Milford Invitational. The Mustangs finished in 2nd place and have a busy weekend. They are competing in the Franklin and Billerica Invitationals, and we will report next week on their results. Congratulations to Allie McDonough, who is a junior field hockey player at Holy Cross. Allie scored the winning goal in a double overtime win against the Long Island Sharks. McDonough graduated from NHS in 2020 and was a 3-time All-Star and 2-time League MVP. And that's all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshallsey. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
Norwood News is your home for all things Norwood. Hosted by Kristen McDonald, this weekly news show brings Norwood to you no matter where you are. From town events to sports games and government meetings, Norwood News is there to get the scoop and bring it to you every single week. Norwood News, your home for all things Norwood.
In government news, the Board of Selectmen held a joint meeting with the Planning Board this week to discuss a master plan and the MBTA task force. Much of this joint meeting was spent on the mandate coming down from the state regarding affordable housing in MBTA communities.
So the revised guidelines that were released by DHCD in August were the final guidelines for the program. The task force, as Matt said, met in early September to kind of review the final plan that was before us and what it is that we needed to come into compliance with as a community. The changes that were most significant to the draft guidelines didn't affect Norwood. The guidelines were changed in a way to concentrate the expected build out in areas that had the most developable land around their transit stations. So that meant that towns like Norwood were really unaffected because we already anticipated that we had lots of opportunity in our communities and we have lots of transit stations. Our unit capacity did decrease by about 600, 700 units. Again, it's worth saying that's not a production mandate. We know it's a scary figure for folks to hear. It's a build-out analysis number. It's a tool that the state will use to measure our zoning to determine that the zoning could potentially yield an appropriate density and an appropriate number of units. It's a catch against us saying, well, we've met our density requirements of 15 units per acre and we've created a district that's 50 acres in size, but we've set forth such stringent parking requirements and height restrictions and setback restrictions that you couldn't actually build anything there.
Board of Selectmen Chairman Bill Plasko made his problems with the MBTA mandate very clear.
I hate the legislation. I think it's entirely for developers. The state keeps saying they need more housing and we need more affordable housing, but there's no affordable component. They say we have control over it, but we don't. We have to do it within their guidelines. We have to do it within certain areas and we have to do certain numbers. So we don't have our own. And I'm not opposed to development. I'm not opposed to housing. I'm not opposed to affordable housing. I supported the rezoning downtown. I supported the housing on Route 1. I supported the Space Center. So I'm certainly not anti. But this legislation is horrible. And
you worked in housing your whole life.
Yeah, and the things that have been written and the things that have been said about the region and the needs and the economic support for housing and so forth are all true, just not necessarily about Norwood. Because nationally, based on some real estate people talking on the radio one day, the average for affordable multifamily housing is 47%. We're between 45 and 47%. We're the national average. We talk about, rents, affordable rents. Boston, Massachusetts isn't affordable, so we worry about the economy. Our affordable units, so-called affordable units that came in with Avalon Bay, Paul mentioned that the rents have gone up, and most recently in the last 2 years, because the landlords can get more now. So the units that just a few years ago, the 2-bedroom unit was about $1,200. Today they're asking $1,900 to $2,200. And it's because they now can get it because of the so-called affordable units. And so guess what? The units that were affordable for our employees, for our people starting out, for our teachers, are no longer affordable because we welcomed in the affordable housing. Well, we didn't welcome, the state gave us through 40B the affordable component, or so-called affordable component.
The MBTA task force will continue to look into this new legislation and work with the Selectmen and the Planning Board. Following the joint meeting, the Selectmen went through the town meeting warrant and voted their recommendations for each article, and the Board of Selectmen will meet again on October 25th. At this week's Airport Commission, Chairman Mark Ryan formally introduced Mark Raymond as the new airport manager, replacing long-term manager Russ McGuire, who retired earlier this year. During his first manager's update, Mr. Raymond updated the Commission on a recent aircraft incident at the airport, and the Commission reiterated the need to pave safety areas at the airport.
I got a phone call. It was 7:30 in the a.m. on September 26th, that a corporate jet had gone off into the grass, turning off the end of runway 17 onto taxiway Alpha. It was off in the grass probably about 15-20 feet off the pavement. I guess there was an issue with the anti-skid on the aircraft, and the pilot lost his brakes. There was no injuries, no damage to the aircraft. We did have to shut the runway down for about 3 hours while we were waiting on somebody to come down and remove it from the grass. It did sink into the soil a little bit, so we wanted to have people come down and pull it out properly so we didn't damage it. And then we reopened the runway.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I mean, with that, I mean, this is exactly why this commission had a #1 priority of paving the runway safety areas. If these safety areas were paved, we wouldn't have this incident, and we wouldn't have closed the runway. Fortunately, the plane was not damaged, and we will continue to work with FAA and Mass DOT to get those paved. We do have it on the next year's fiscal year budget to design that work, so that's the best we could do, seeing the cost constraints out there, but we want to move forward with this, so we're going to be designing it next year. We also have a letter from Noble Air Charter, which right after this incident wrote a letter telling how important it is to companies like theirs that want to use Norwood Airport, that those paved safety areas, or those safety areas are paved. Right now they're turf, and you can see what happens if just in a regular season the plane gets stuck in it, and during the winter they're not even available because they're covered with snow because we don't plow it. So that's why another reason why we got to keep moving forward to try to get those safety areas paved.
Following his report, Trails Advisory Committee Chairman Joe Greeley requested the committee's desire to evaluate the possibility of constructing a trail from Meadow Street to University Avenue. To do so, we require an easement onto airport land. Mr. Sheen explained that the process may be long, but the commission would like to see it happen.
I'd love to say yes, but I think we got to look at the legality and legal, because we own the property, and they have to take a look at it and say, I hope they're going to say, yeah, this is fine, and this is the path to do it. And then also anything we do here, it's DOT, FAA, because we don't want it also to affect the funding, which, as you just heard, we got almost $1 million that cost the town zero. So we don't want to affect that in any way. And I don't see them having a problem with this, but we do have to get their okay. And sometimes they send it back and say, it's your decision, you're fine, yeah. But to your question, Joe, I think you have to just wait.
The next Airport Commission meeting will be scheduled later next month. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org.
Did you know Norwood Community Media has a weekly newsletter? If you are interested in signing up, all you have to do is go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Once you're there, scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button. All you have to do after that is fill out your first and last name, your email, as well as your zip code. Once you press send at the end of each week, you will have our newsletter in your inbox, ready for you to catch up on all things Norwood.
Monday night was the League of Women Voters event to kick off the year, where Library Director Clayton Cheever spoke about the Morrill Memorial Library's history as well as what is to come for the library's future.
I had the pleasure this evening to address the League of Women Voters as their keynote speaker for their annual kickoff event for the year. I talked about the 21st Century Library, what we have, where we came from, where we are today, and where we're going. I talked about the history of this library and our proud place in the Norwood community. talked about what's happening here in Norwood and across the state of Massachusetts. Talked a little bit about things that are happening beyond the state. We really focused on Massachusetts. And then I looked at our strategic plan that I'm really excited to announce that I'm distributing throughout the community right now. That's what we're looking at for the next 5 years and where we're going and what our strategic priorities are going to be.
Thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you to the women voters for all the work that you're doing. It's a real honor to be here.
Held every year in the NHS gym, the Norwood Craft Affair is always a huge hit. This event brings together crafters and craft enthusiasts together for one of the largest fall shopping events in the area. Every October, the town of Norwood hosts a favorite fall shopping stop for crafting fans. The affair has grown into approximately 80 crafters who travel to Norwood from all over New England to showcase their creative wares. This list is impressive and includes sewn, crocheted, and knitted pieces. There will be chocolate and honey, items for pets, jewelry, holiday decor, wreaths, stained glass, jams and jellies, mirrors, paintings, bags, and so much more. The craft affair concept was spearheaded by then Norwood High School teacher Margot Mancinelli in order to raise funds for the post-prom party and other NHS programs. The event has been a brilliant success and grown in a reputation as one of the best craft fairs in the area. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.